How are you guys doing? Today is Friday, June 11th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to do an elite individual profile on Kai Havertz. The elite German center attacking midfielder for Chelsea turns 22 today, and with this episode, of course, I plan to list his achievements, his accomplishments that he's been able to achieve up until now, to give a little bit of justification for why a player that's just turning 22, that not that many people know about, deserves to be on the list of, or at least not that many people in America know about, should be on the list of the most elite athletes in the world. And because of that, I'm just going to give a little bit of context into who Kai Havertz is. So Kai Havertz, he stands about 6'2". He's incredibly skinny. If I were to describe his playing style, I would describe it as very intelligent, but at the same time, in the way he can read space, he also has the foot that can deliver the ball, which of course is 80-90% of it. And no, he's just an amazing young player. He's well beyond his years, and he's most definitely on pace to being one of Germany's best soccer players ever. So, just to give a little bit of background, he's from Aachen, Germany. He would find his way in his youth career ending up on Bayer Leverkusen, where he would actually get promoted. In 2016, when he made his debut, he was Bayer Leverkusen's ever debutant in the Bundesliga. He became, or in 2016 in the Bundesliga season, he would start 15 of the 24 games he would play. He would finish with 4 goals and 4 assists in a season where they finished 12th in the Bundesliga. And he would go on to be the team's youngest scoring player ever to do so. Yeah, so Kai Havertz was definitely, from the beginning he came in, he hit the ground kind of running, and now he hasn't really been able to look back. That was his very first season when the world kind of became aware of the player that he was. In his very second season with Bayer Leverkusen, in his age 18 season in 2017-18, he would start 22 of the 30 games in a season where Leverkusen finished with the 5th best record in the Bundesliga. In the Bundesliga itself, Kai Havertz would finish with 3 goals and 8 assists. He's never had more assists in a domestic season ever. And, of course, the fact that he was doing it as a teenager, of course, shows, of course, how beyond his years he was, especially at that time. He finished with a goal in the DFB Pokal as well. And in 2018, he would become a member of the German national team after he would get called up by Joachim Löw after that season with Bayer Leverkusen. And coming into the 2018-19 season, in his 3rd season with Leverkusen, in his age 19 season, Kai Havertz would start 33 of the 34 games he would play in a season where Leverkusen finished with the 4th best record in Bundesliga, and they had clinched Champions League. This is the best record that they had under Kai Havertz, at least while he had been there. So, of course, great finish for them there. They hadn't finished like that since 2015-2016. But regardless, after being named to the national team in the season, Kai Havertz would finish with 17 goals and 3 assists. That is the most goals he ever put up in a Bundesliga season, as he virtually took the entire league by storm. This is when he had many people at least looking him up and trying to scoop him up on that, to be a part of their team. In Europa League, he would play 6 matchups. He would finish with 3 goals and 3 assists in the 6 Europa League games he played. And this is the season that at least they would lose in the round of 32 in the UEFA Europa League. But regardless, Kai Havertz would have himself a performance. He will come back for his last season with Leverkusen in 2019-2020. This was a season, of course, that was heavily impacted by COVID. They had to stop the year, they had to stop the end of this. They had to delay the end of the season, and the end of the season they didn't even have fans. But regardless, in his very last season at Leverkusen, in his age 20 season, Kai Havertz would start 20 of the 30 matchups he would play. In a season where Leverkusen finished with the 5th best record in the Bundesliga, he finished with 12 goals and 6 assists within the league itself. In Europa League, he had 4 goals and a couple of assists, while of course showing that he was one of the best creators of opportunities in Germany. And following the season in which Leverkusen did not make the Champions League, he would make the move to Chelsea and he's already played for Chelsea. He's already played with Chelsea for one season, and in this most recent season, 2020-2021, that just came to an end, his age 21 season, he would start 18 of the 27 games he would play at least in the Premier League. In the Premier League, he finished with 4 goals and 3 assists. This is all in a season where Chelsea finished with the 4th best record in the table. They also finished as runners-up in the FA Cup final, where, of course, Kai Havertz finished with a goal and an assist in the 5 matchups he played there. And when they were in, they got close to making they got close to winning the FA Cup final, but they lost to Leicester City. But they did bring a trophy home. They were able to win the Champions League by beating Manchester City, who, when they played, Manchester City had most recently won the Premier League title. But of course, they would go into this game. Chelsea would win the game 1-0, and Kai Havertz would be the only player to actually score in that game. So, of course, it all really came full circle for him in a season which was kind of shaky, which I would describe as shaky at best, is how I would describe the Chelsea season. But at the end of the day, they came away with it, and Kai Havertz was a big part of it, showing how much of an integral role he really played on the team moving forward. With that said, that leads us to where we are now. Kai Havertz is now 22 years old. He is still the youngest player to ever debut for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. He is the youngest player to reach 30 goals in the Bundesliga, at least until Erling Haaland did it. So Kai Havertz is a young German prodigy in a sense. And even right now, he's competing in Euros 2020. He's played 1 game so far, and thus far they lost to France. But still, Kai Havertz has been an integral role within this team, and I believe that he is so much more to his game. If he were to even stay, if he were to level off at about this level, he'd still be one of the best soccer players in the world. And the best thing about analyzing these young players is that they have so much ahead of them. You have no idea as to where their career could go. But with this said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to this piece. Once again, today is Friday, June 11th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I want to thank UEFA.com. I want to thank FootballReference.com, Footy Stats, and of course, I'm using the Wikipedia pages to get an understanding of just to get a sense of how each season went for each team. But with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to this piece. I want to wish Kai Havertz a happy 22nd birthday. If you ever get a chance to watch him, he's wearing 29 for Chelsea, and I think in Euros he's wearing number 7 for Germany. So just watch out. Once again, I want to thank you for listening to my piece, and peace out. I'll catch you with another episode tomorrow once all of today's exhibitions and matches are done. Thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.